What's good, people? It's RFG back at it today, and I'm here to talk about the situation that's been going on in Chicago for the past 10 to 15 years, pertaining to the number of murders, okay, in that location, okay, Chicago, Illinois. A lot of us fail to realize that, most of the individuals in Chicago that are living, in lower middle class were basically put in a crab in the bucket scenario, okay, by the individuals that set up, the United States government. They are the true deceivers and misleaders, okay, the people who created these laws we have today, okay, they're geared to keep God's chosen people, either locked up fighting one another or in the grave. Okay, we're gonna listen to this individual who was a former Chicago gang member, and this is his take on what's really happening on the streets of Chicago. Because once again, like I said, the mainstream media is owned by the Zionist Jews, and their mission is to mislead and deceive. Okay, one thing I want people to know and understand is that never let somebody, try to argue with you and tell you, the black on black crime is, oh, it's 96%, it's 97%. But if you look up any of the statistics, you see what I'm saying, on any website, they'll have it posted. White on white crime is at 90%, 92%. Okay? That's really obvious. If you live next to someone, or in the same, you're in the same culture as somebody, and you guys live in the same area, the logical thinker would only think that you would commit the crime to those closest to you. You see what I'm saying? Nobody is gonna drive 10 to 12 miles across town to commit an armed robbery. Nobody is gonna drive 10 to 12 miles across town, you see what I'm saying, to commit a murder. Okay? That doesn't make any sense. It makes no logical sense, people. Nobody's gonna drive 10 to 12 miles to commit a bank robbery. That's stupid. That is not even, it's not even thinkable. Okay? So, anybody who tries to use that argument is just very ignorant, and they don't do their research, man. They really don't. I call them media zombies, complete media zombies. Okay, so let's just hear what this guy has to say about the situation in Chicago. One thing that I need to get off my chest is that we need to start putting two and two together. Okay, the city of Chicago, it's really hard to get guns legally there. So per capita, and when you look at the population of gun owners in Chicago, they are predominantly middle class or upper middle class white men. Okay, so one question I want to ask is, why are all of these young people, especially young minorities, getting their hands on not only pistols, but fully automatic submachine guns, machine guns, shotguns, all this ammunition? Where are the youth getting these weapons from? Okay, last time I checked, middle class white men, the last person that they're gonna sell a gun to is gonna be a youth minority. Let's just be honest, people. That's the last person a middle class white person is going to sell a pistol to. Okay? And last time I checked, Mexican gangs and Asian gangs really don't sell to, the so-called black population anyway. So like I said, if they're not getting these guns legally, where is the quote unquote black youth? Where are they getting these pistols and these guns from? These machine guns, these submachine guns, the ammunition. I mean, well, where's the stuff coming from, people? Well, we're about to find out. Let's hear what this guy has to say.
Chicago, man. I'm from Chicago, born and raised there. I ran those streets of Chicago and changed my life. But I want to kind of make people aware of some things that you don't know, because you never really been out there, then you wouldn't know it. And it's going to be hard to believe, but myself, for a fact, and several others that I ran with know this to be the truth. Growing up in Chicago in the early 90s, the same situation was happening. I've been in Chicago where a person came into my house and knocked on the door to come and get me early in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, and said, come with me, man. There's a crate of guns in the alley. And I got up and ran out there, and sure enough, there was a crate of guns. And during that time when we in it, you're not thinking about where did the guns just come from. You know, you never think about that type of stuff, like where did the guns come from and why are they here? But now that I'm older, I can kind of tell you that it's a diabolical plot. Nothing is stopped. The guns are still there. The guns are still being placed in these different strategic communities. It's a plan. It's not out in Bridgeview. It's not out in, West Mountain. You know, they're putting it in the hundreds for sure. Yeah, they're putting it on 55th. They're putting it in Inglewood. 6:30 in the morning while older people that's at work, you sleep. You're not outside. So, you got the streetwalkers and the people that's out, they hustling and they out all types of day. Yeah, they're the ones that's going to run across them, and who would go and tell the police? I never went to go tell the police when we found some guns. That don't even make sense. Why would you go tell the police? So people are wondering why so much violence. Think about it. You think about this. Okay, the police are locking people up constantly in Chicago every single day. They're taking guns off the street every single day, every day. So how is it that all of these guns just keep appearing? Where are all the guns coming from? Nobody's going to the gun store buying these guns. So where are all these guns? Now, this is another part that you don't know. I was so used to having exotic guns that I thought that was the norm. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying far as, I don't know if you know, are you familiar with guns, but a fully automatic handgun is almost impossible to get. You know what I'm saying? A fully automatic assault rifle, that's not common. It may sound common, but that's not common. A Uzi that's fully automatic, that's not common. So I was so used to having everything in the area that I knew of was fully. It shot fully automatic, fully. So me being 17 and 18 and in my 20s, I was so naive that I believed that's how all guns was. I seen so many different exotic guns on the street running around in different areas with the guys just running around. I thought that was the norm. So now I'm an older gentleman. I'm out here, I switch my life around. I'm living right, So now I cleared my name up and got my record sealed. I'm going to the gun shop now. I'm going to the shooting range, shooting like I'm supposed to. And I go into gun stores and I'm asking for certain guns and they looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I made that gun up. These are guns that I've seen several times in different areas that the gun stores saying, how would that be on the street? That's something that you would have to get specialized, customized. You see what I'm saying? But these guns are on the streets of Chicago. And my point to you is, yeah, we can't try to make an excuse for the kids out there shooting. And it ain't all kids, but we can't make an excuse. But I want you to look at the bigger picture. Where are they getting the guns from? It's not one or two areas. It's not one or two areas. It's everywhere. In the urban community is what I'm telling you. They're not dropping them out there in Hillcrest. They're not going to be out there. You check in them hundreds. You check on the low end. You check in the heart of the city, in the inner city. That's where they're dropping all the guns at. That's where all the killings is happening at. That's why a lot of innocent people are getting shot, stuff like that. Because of these guns. They got guns that they can't control. They shoot these guns guns letting off, man, 100 shots, man, in 30 seconds. These guns are not being bought. They don't have no gun license to buy these guns. So where are they getting the guns from? That's the question. I'm telling you right now. They've been dropping the guns off in crates for years. They've been doing it. I've seen it twice in my lifetime. I seen it in 1990, and then I seen it again in 1999. I seen it with my own eyes. You can believe it or not, but that's the honest to God truth. I went out, I seen the guns in the crate myself, and they went out through the whole area. Everybody got this one, grab that one. Let me get that one. I grabbed it. Everybody got it. And that's what they keep doing. That's how the guns keep getting on the streets. That's why the wars don't stop. You see what I'm saying? That's the part that people got to focus on. The gun control, how you going to control something if you study putting it down there? That's propaganda when they saying this gun control, or we lobbying for gun control. You're not trying to control nothing when you study putting guns out there. They're giving it to them. Now they want to give them the guns so they can catch them with the guns. Either they're going to kill somebody with the gun, then they get to lock them up, or they catch them with the gun and they get to lock them up. Either way, it's lose, 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 lose. You see what I'm saying? It's a business for them. It's a business. You know what I'm saying? It's like me wanting to sell a drug, but I got to get you hooked first. You know, it's a business for them. So the more people that they can catch with guns, or the more people that commit crimes with guns, they get to lock them up. To them, it's just a number. They don't care. They don't care who it is. But it's more of the African-American community that's you know, we're the victims. And I hate that everything boils down to race and all of that. I'm not a racist, but the truth is the truth. And I'm just telling it how it is. You know what I'm saying? I go to Chicago all the time. But if I go out to Westmount, Illinois, where one of my good white friends live, and I go with him, it's a different community. It's a different community. Ain't nobody running around with no guns.
Stop it real quick. Yeah, what this brother is saying is 100% accurate. Okay, I just want to clear this up. Okay, like I said before, I don't know of any Mexican gangs that sell firearms or sell weapons to black people. I mean, it may happen, you know, every now and again, but on a massive level, you see what I'm saying? To have 3 people die each day in the year of 2015, 3 people get murdered each day in the whole year of 2015 in Chicago from gun violence. Okay, the gang members aren't getting it from Mexican gangs in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? The black gang members aren't getting the guns from middle class white people selling their guns in Chicago. Okay, the black youth aren't getting their guns, okay, legally through gun stores in Chicago. That's not happening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so what this man said, you really might want to take heed and start to question and start to use critical thinking, okay? Okay, what is going on in Chicago? The police department there are dropping weapons and ammunition in certain alleyways, okay, in different hoods in Chicago. Okay? That's what they're doing. That's what they did in LA. That's what they do in Houston. That's what they do in Atlanta. Every major city, that's what they do. Chicago is nothing new. Okay? And if we really want to get technical about this land of Chicago, okay, the first people to inhabit the Chicago area were the Chickasaw Native Americans. Okay, one thing that is very interesting about these Chickasaw Native Americans is look at their skin tone. Look at that skin color. Okay, that's a copper color. That's a brownish copper color for the Chickasaw Native Americans. If you think it's bullshit, this is their official seal. This is the Chickasaw official seal. You see what I'm saying? For the Chickasaw Nation. And this is the English way of spelling Chickasaw. The real way to spell Chickasaw is Chikasaw. Okay? Chica. Okay? What is so significant about the Chica? Well, let's study where the etymology of chi comes from. Oh, chi, universal life force energy, the aura, your chakras, and the meridians, okay, in between your aura and your chakra points. The chi energy, the ka energy, straight from Kemet, the ka energy. So right there we have the chi and the ka, okay? The chi, the ka, and the sa. The chi, the ka, and the sa. That gives you the Chickasaw, but when the European invaders came in and forced these people off of their land and committed genocide, okay, they came up with the Chicago. They told the chi and the ka to go. I'm going to repeat. They told the chi and the ka to go. Chicago. They told the people with the chi energy and the ka energy to pack their bags and go. And they're doing the same thing with the melanated Moors in Chicago. They're telling the chi people and the ka people to go. And that is called gentrification. Gentrification, okay? Through economics, through politics, and through, chemical warfare. Okay? Genocide through the Hollywood media, the police stations, politics. Yeah, and I'm telling you what, mind control is the number one genocidal tool ever created. Okay? The TV is the biggest propaganda instrument in the whole world. Okay? First and foremost, most black men don't like women their skin shade. Okay? Then on top of that, you have police brutality skyrocketing at record numbers. Okay? You have Planned Parenthood that is growing and growing and growing and growing. Okay? So there is a plot to do away with the original melanated people who occupied the Americas. That's why they had to come out with the African slave ship lie, so the Europeans could legally have a right to take this land and claim it as theirs. That had to be done back in the late 80s. Okay, the term African American didn't even exist until the mid to late 80s, people. Soon as you put two and two together, it's all a joke. It's a big joke. Like I said, look at the Chickasaw, the original natives of the Chicago area. Look at that seal. Look at the seal, people. That's a melanated man. Okay? Not a joke, not a game. Okay? Total death toll in Chicago, 688 to this day. That's close to 700. So if that, I already did the math, if that continues on to all the way to December 31st, that will be 2.5 to 3 deaths due to murder every day in Chicago. Okay? 3 gun-related murders each day in Chicago. Why is this happening? Because they had a genocide against the people of the Chi and the Ka, and they told them to pack up and go. Okay, the Chi, the Ka, and the Go. It went from Chickasaw to Chicago. Okay, very, very, very important knowledge, very important information, because they can't tell you this information in school, otherwise you'll know who you really are. Okay, just like they had that feather in their head in ancient Kemet. Okay, like they had the feather in their head in ancient Kemet, they also had the feather in their head. This is the Chickasaw tribe right here, same feather in their head. Okay, as above, so below. We were all over the world. The Moors civilized the whole world.